comedy hour starting from the beginning. Okay, yeah, I don't usually, my strings.
Ladies and gentlemen, live from San Francisco, it's the Don Harms Comedy Hour.
Whoa. Well, I left my doggy. No, sorry. There we go. Sorry, I don't put the heat on.
What?
I don't put the heat on at night, so my violin goes, hello, what about me? So then in the morning, sometimes it unravels. Sorry about that.
That's okay. Well, you're very unlike, who's that guy that always carries a violin, or that was Henny Youngman, and the other guy was
Jack Benny?
Well, he'd sit at the piano, and Victor Borish, and he'd never play the piano.
He's my absolute favorite. When he turns the pages, he's playing along, and there's a page turn with a long tie. And when he wants to turn the pages, he pulls the tie, and the guy gets up. And every time he gets up, he turns the page, and of course the music flies across it's just everything he does is hilarious. I'm not quite there. I'm trying, but I'm not there.
So the difference between you and Victor Borish is you know how to play.
No, Victor Borg actually was an amazing pianist, but he wanted to look like he wasn't. And Jack Benny apparently was good too, but he would play like it laughs. Kind of like me. Sorry. There.
So for all the millions of Suzuki students out there, could you do a little pineapple?
Yeah. It's actually,
just to make sure we know you're in level 1.
Peter, it has nothing to do with pineapples. It has to do with hot dogs, even though I don't eat pork or any kind of meat because it's the abuse of the animals. But this is my first song.
What's your acronym for da 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 da?
Mississippi hot dog.
Oh, Mississippi hot dog.
Well, that was out of tune. Here we go. That was a fancy version.
Ah, the fancy version. That's not in the book, or it's in the appendix, I guess.
Kind of, yeah. That's like on your way to book 2. Yeah.
So I'm just going to introduce you, ladies and gentlemen, Don Harms, as it says in the little black box. And if you want to say anything about yourself, you can. But Don and I met around 1999. I did some jazz string arrangements for Don. And we remained friends and musical compatriots thereafter. And Don is been a longtime member of the San Francisco Opera Orchestra, started on viola and graduated to violin. Is that right?
Yeah, you usually don't do that. You don't tell people that you play the viola, usually.
You don't want to admit that?
No, you don't admit you play the viola, never, no.
Why, because they'll put you in the viola section?
Well, what's the difference between a viola and a violin?
The way the head tilts? I don't know.
Well,
I know it's a joke. I know, but I just don't know the answer.
A viola never hits the same. Well, I have so many jokes that I get confused. What's the difference between a viola and lightning?
I don't know what.
They never strike twice in the same place. So don't tell violas that I said this. Anyway, but speaking of violas, we should give Emily Onderdonk a shout out because she was a viola teacher, was she not?
Yeah, I wanted to learn how to write for strings better, so I took because I thought maybe my hand is large, I would play for on viola.
Yeah,
I kind of wished I hadn't, but because violin is actually a lot easier to play than viola. I mean, it's really a big stretch. It's like playing cello on your shoulder.
You have a nice hand. Like, look, see, I have a wide bass. It's really the spread here, and I have I like to have a bear paw, so that's good tone.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
You have good, well,
like if you have the vibrato, I can. You can have that rich sound, and if you have really skinny fingers, it's like
more nervous sounding. Yeah,
right.
Yeah. When you play, maybe just back up a little bit because I think it's.
Am I too close? Sorry.
Yeah, only when you play, but yours perfect for speaking. So,
all right.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. So, and then just tell people you play in the opera orchestra. You play in New Century Chamber Orchestra.
Right, and I teach at Stanford, and I also conduct it's one of my favorite things to do because I do many different jobs. but I have an orchestra at the pre-college at the San Francisco Conservatory, and they're 8 to 13 years old. And in fact, Peter just did an incredible arrangement of I'm Beginning to See the Light that they just played Saturday. First time they read through it, I was like, they're amazing and they love it. So when we start rehearsal, they go, can we play I'm Beginning to See the Light? Because they're so classically trained that I wanted to have a different genre and a different way to play and not just be so, Mozart. But they're amazing, and they're even getting because it looks on the page like, and they're getting the swing.
Right.
It's only 10 million, but go ahead.
Yeah, we're gonna get 10 million hits on this for sure. I can feel it. And it's good you have an extremely large mug so that, because we're probably going to talk for 3 hours, so is that be kind.
That's what we need a little more in the world.
Absolutely. We all need love bees. They do a lot of service for us. Yeah, I just, it's just to kind of get to know you. Like, can you tell me, now when I visited your house back when I first met you, I saw a picture of you and you were in Little League, right?
Yeah, I was the bat boy, bat girl.
They didn't put you in the games?
You couldn't. Girls were not allowed. Now apparently it's unisex and everyone can play. No. I died to play, but my brothers played and I was the bat girl. That's the closest they got. And my mother made the little uniform and I was just thrilled to be there. And I was the first one there and the last one to leave. And I would help bring the bats and the balls and put the bases out. I did everything I could, but you were definitely treated like a second-class citizen, but I got free snow cones. So
free snow cones. What can you do? Times have changed though, right? There's girls on the football team and the wrestling team. And they're in the military. Right. So do they have trading cards for violins? Like, a Guarneri, I'll trade you.
I wish we'd be millionaires if they did. Hey, we should start that. It could be on Shark Tank. Yeah.
Violin trading cards.
I'm sure they'd be a hit, wouldn't they?
So these are my dumb questions. And the last dumb question, what's the smallest violin you've ever played?
Oh, well, actually,
that big?
I played a quarter size, but they have, let me show you.
The reason I ask is, because they have those little, I don't know if you've ever seen it, but they have, oh yeah, that's about the right size for a gerbil.
There's the bow. Yeah, but
have you ever seen that video of the little mouse eating a burrito?
Yes.
Isn't that the greatest thing? There's like a little chipmunk and he's eating a burrito. And the guy makes him a little table like he's in a restaurant.
I love little stuff like that. You'd think I would have little doll houses. This would be perfect, but this is actually playable. I know it seems weird, but it's playable. But the littlest is a quarter size, and it's literally like, I have my violin here, but it's like this big. That's when you start at like 2. I started.
Oh yeah, David started on a quarter size.
Yes,
quarter, half, 3/4, and he did all of them. And the first 2 years, I think he was on a quarter size. It was just.
But I would get so frustrated because I didn't think I sounded good, and you have to practice as a child. I'm sure you maybe make David, or does he play still?
Yeah, well, he actually switched to piano, but he always I'm happy to say, he picks up his violin regularly.
Good.
And he'll play a piano part and then he'll go play the violin on top of the piano part.
Excellent. It's good to know.
And he's a budding composer too. So.
Woo, I wonder where he got that.
And so is Ruth.
Wow. Well, they'd have to be that multi-talented to have you as their father.
But we talk music all day long.
Wow.
I mean, most people talk politics.
Let's not do that. But
no, call a minor 7th chord.
Don't tell David I would bite my violin when I was little. I'd be so frustrated. I would bite it, and there's little teeth marks in the side. Okay. It was crazy. Like, whoa.
Now, were you biting it because you were developing your teeth, or because you didn't have a binky?
At 7 and 8, I think I had my teeth, but you never know. Right. I still have them at this old age. Yeah. But no, I was just frustrated because I didn't think I sounded good. I would just bite it. I don't know. You're the reason I'm not good. I blame it on the violin.
Well, you made up for it, Dawn. You're fantastic. And, this violin has no teeth marks on it. So
no, not yet. Not yet. Maybe after your next CD, I'll have a lot of teeth marks because I'll be frustrated with the difficulty.
I'm trying to write something as hard as possible.
No, no, no. That's why I love your music, because it's actually accessible, but it's not like, easy, but it's
Ah,
not like some composers, I feel they think they have to write difficult, like in one bar, you can't even figure it out. And they think that makes them a really profound composer, but you know what? No one ever plays it again. You can play it once and then they don't play it again. Your music is so accessible that everyone wants to play it again.
I'm glad to hear that. Thank you. I mean, that's the goal. You want a piece to have a life,
Of course.
just the first time.
And it's so heartfelt too. I love your music. I'm one of your biggest fans.
Thank you, Don. Well, what do you remember about Pilgrim on Earth? Like, what's your strongest memory about making that recording?
My strongest memory is one of your pieces called Power.
Right.
That is still my favorite to this day. We rehearsed it and it was beautiful, but when we recorded it, because yes, you can go back and back and back, but we wanted to just do a whole take.
Yeah.
And it builds the way it's the way it starts and the way it ends is, I can tear up just thinking about it. The entire group, even our atheist friends, were like they were just blown away by the power of that piece. Now I know it's called Power, but I'm not trying to have a plan.
All power. Sorry.
Sorry, all power. My brain is like that mouse you were talking about. And it was the power and the energy that it went to as starting off calm and it ended up just like you didn't even know what to do with yourself. It was so magnificent that everyone in the room was almost crying. Really, everyone in the room was just, I remember we had to take a break after that because people were just moved that beyond what they thought they could be. And it was really amazing. And I call them atheists and I don't even know if they were, but it was so moving that it was almost like a religious experience. And they even said that. One of the players said, I'm an atheist and I don't know what was going on. I was so moved. I said, we converted you. But no, that's what I remember about the whole CD, which I love, but the piece, All Power, is just so moving. And I would love to just have it on like the speed dial that it just keeps playing. It's so beautiful.
Thank you.
If people haven't heard it, they should run out and get it.
Yeah, well, hopefully they will. Yeah, but that's great. I remember that. And sometimes though, because I'm playing the piano and they kind of put me over in the corner, I sometimes feel a little bit like I don't experience the same unity with the whole orchestra, because they kind of put me to the side a little, for recording purposes.
Oh, to the side. I don't think you were in the corner like
Not
Cinderella. Bad, but you were. Well, you know what? You could try this time to have a half circle. I don't know.
Well, I kind of defer to the engineers there. They kind of give the layout. But anyways, what I'm saying is some of what you're saying there is new to me. I would have felt it, I think, if I had been right next to the string section. I was about 20 feet away from you guys. So,
but maybe it's kind of like you're the cook, you're the composer, you're the chef. Right. So by the time you eat the meal, you've tasted it and heard it so many times that it's like, okay, here we go. I don't know. I'm not saying
no. I get into it emotionally too. I definitely do. And I know exactly the feeling that you're describing, because I won't say I feel that way.
Any version of that?
What's that?
Are we going to do any version of Power again? Sorry, are we going to do any version of Power again?
No, they're all new hymns. So, okay. And I've actually written and had some hymns published. So I'm planning on doing one or two of my own hymns, because now the melodies are recognizable. I think one of the reasons I like going back to the idea of Pilgrim on Earth is that hymns are kind of a tune that allows the listener to follow the composition. It's a through line. And I use the theme as a point of departure. That's the way I look at it. But I always try to give the whole melody at least once, so that someone wants to sing along, and then I kind of elaborate. Or, one of my favorite things to do, which I did extensively, and that is the counter melody. Because so in da 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 da. So that's the counter melody, right? And then
I love it.
Yeah. So that's one thing I do. And you'll notice in this recording, I've gotten better at counterpoints. So there's going to be more elaborate counterpoints. So more than one counter melody. Yeah, two counter melodies this time.
Woo! You're going all out.
Yeah. So it's all new stuff, and you know, it'll be a larger palette. I guess that's the way I say it, because I'm just really excited. I'm having fun writing it, and it's the way it's unfolding is different than it did last time. I remember really working on each piece one after another, you know, finish that piece, send it to the copyist. But this time, you know, I'm actually working out 4 pieces. It's just sort of coming to me. So but I have 4 pieces going already that are not finished, but I'm kind of developing all at the same time. So,
well, I remember your 3 Kings. Like, it started out this gorgeous melody. We all could sing it. And then you had me flying all over the place on this like descant counter melody. And it was just like, wow, where you took it was quite amazing. And then where it ended up. So again, you take something that seems so simple, we can all sing it. And then, whoa, it's amazing, your imagination.
Thank you. Yeah. Well, yeah, and it's fun to follow it there. And I think, you know, part of I've said this on one of my other videos that I did, is that hymns they're diatonic, right?
Right.
And the reason is they're meant to be able to sing a congregation of untrained singers that can sing da 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 da. It's all, and it always ends up on do and ends on do, and you know. So, but if you just do that in your composition, why bother? You know what I mean? Exactly. So my goal is to kind of like take some of the spirit of it and let it blossom.
Right.
You know, some people might say, hey, just play the damn hymn. But, you know, it's like, well, we already have the damn hymn. So why not let it become something that might shed light on the original inspiration? So that's kind of what I do.
And you don't lose the theme. I can hear the theme throughout, which is beautiful. Sometimes you can't, like when people sing the national anthem, I don't know what they're doing. Yeah. You're like, what?
They're showing off. That's what they're doing.
It's a sense, and it's not even good. So anyway.
I don't know, have you ever seen that thing on Saturday Night Live where I forget her name? She's a comedian. She does and that's all she does the whole time is go for the national anthem. Maya.
Maya. Yes, I love her. Yeah.
Because she's a good singer. She's a very good singer.
Yeah, she actually can sing. Yeah. Yeah, but you don't quite go into the comedic side of it, but it's you don't need to. It's too good already the way it is.
Yeah.
Didn't you say Power was Pilgrim on Earth was one of your the best-selling CDs?
So far, yeah, it has. It's been the bestseller.
Even more than Christmas. I mean, Christmas present's seasonal. I guess that's why.
Think, you know, it's hard to say because now it's not units. It used to be CD units, and now it's more downloads. So I never really looked at it, but when they were CDs,
right,
I would say probably Pilgrim on Earth because it had a head start, and then Christmas Present was probably second, and then maybe Onward. Somewhere they're all.
Well, I sold at least 20 myself.
Really? Okay. Hey, I don't think you reimbursed me. Just kidding.
What? No, I bought them. You made us buy them from you. Are you kidding?
No. Well, okay.
I bought 40 of them. My mother gave them to all her friends as Christmas presents. Wow. Are you kidding?
Yeah.
And so did Scott. Scott Maycomb. He bought like 20 because his mother also loved. So you're doing it for the mothers.
But this time I'll give everyone 10 at least if they want them. So I think I am going to print CDs this time, and as well as downloads. But
cool.
But people now kind of whatever. That's a whole.
Well, my cousin, my cousin's Tom Waits, and he says he doesn't even write new music.
Slow down. Just say that again for everybody.
Sorry, I tend to talk too fast.
No, just so that people heard. Your cousin is Tom Waits, the singer-songwriter.
My first cousin's Tom Waits. Our mothers were sisters. They're neither one are alive, and he told me he doesn't even write new songs anymore because they're gone instantly. He can't keep them without someone stealing them, or it's on Spotify or pirated somewhere, unless he sells, like Beyonce. But if he just makes, I don't know, 200,000, whatever it is, he just can't.
Oh, I see. He can't sell the units.
Pirated. Somehow it's stolen. I'm not sure how it works.
Yeah, it's really a sign of the times, but
So it is.
you know what, we don't let that stop us. We continue to make good music
Yay.
and know that it will find a life
Well,
beyond.
your arrangements again are magnificent. Going back to the conservatory kids who are doing your arrangement of I'm Beginning to See the Light, they said, oh, we heard it with a band I said, did you hear it with a string orchestra? Well, no, we couldn't find it. So this is the unique. You could really do something with your string arrangements, because string orchestras, there's tons of them all over, and they don't have, yes, you have Tchaikovsky and you have, Dvorak and Elgar and a few string pieces, but to do some jazz string orchestra rep would be really cool.
I
Because to
should
me,
do that. I should take the ones that I started for you guys, which included piano, and then just arrange them for strings only and try to publish them. I don't know who I would do. I did, just so you know, I did do print publishing for several years, but I went into it at the worst absolute possible time you could have, because print publishing just was wiped out by the internet, because all you have to do is scan it, send a PDF. And so there were only a few big publishers left standing. And, so, and I tried to publish print music, sacred print music. And anyways, it was.
No, it's difficult, because I'm sorry, there are just so many. I mean, I wouldn't be able to sleep at night, but people just see how they can steal stuff and just take it as their own. So I don't know how you could do that, but I'm telling you, it's necessary. How about I'll just be your main purchaser?
Okay.
You're getting rich off of me. If you just want to arrange all those pieces, like Sing, 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 all that.
Really? Okay. Yeah, I'll have to be after Pilgrim, but yeah, let's talk about that some more.
I mean, I looked at Sing, Sing, Sing because that's one of my all-time favorites, but it's tricky with all the string stuff. I think one violin a group couldn't play that, so you maybe have to branch off to more solos.
Yeah, you cut out, I mean, obviously tom-toms, don't.
Right.
You can't do it on strings. So you have to substitute something, or you just leave that section out. And, yeah.
Right here, Peter.
Yeah, there was something I was gonna. Are you gonna have them stand up when they do the shout chorus?
I want them to, and they're so, oh, no. Like even when the first violin goes, whatever, they won't. I said, but we've only done it twice.
Yes, they have to
by
get.
The time we get there, they will.
Well, the thing that I think is cool about you that you selected it for them is, jazz is they say America's classical music, but so jazz is a part of our culture, and I feel like every musician should have that under their belt. They should understand it and feel it, because it's just like, I remember hearing a Russian orchestra play Tchaikovsky.
Yep.
Now, when they played that, it sounded different to me, and it was because I believe because they're Russian and they understand it at a level that, and I feel it's kind of the same way with jazz.
It's interesting because I've seen, and this might sound a little, I don't know, narrow-minded, but I've heard European orchestras play like Copland, and it seems like that would be easy, but it's not as simple. Americans, seem to play it more simple, and they play it more, they keep it going like maybe more romantic, like the Russians. So I think it does help to play your own country's music in a way.
Yeah, I totally, yeah. So, it's in our blood. We've been hearing it since we were kids, But so this will be one of my last questions. What are your early musical influences? I was just thinking, listening to the radio when I was a kid, and
sure, well, I love Barry Manilow and the Carpenters, so that's not really good, is it? I did.
And that stuff goes down choir. What?
And this is my influence. I'm not kidding. Barry Manilow, Carpenters, Florence Foster Jenkins. My mother put it on every morning. Do you know her? I
don't know, but I'm going to look it up afterwards.
Oh, you should look her. Florence Foster Jenkins.
Right?
She's a singer who wanted to be an opera singer, and she.
The lady who can't sing in tune. They made a movie about her with Meryl Streep.
She went to Carnegie Hall, and everyone, the place was sold out because they came to laugh. It was very sad. But she took voice lessons, and she sounded a little like a chimp. But people she was very, very popular.
Well, there's something about when you wear your heart on your sleeve. You know what I mean? It's endearing, and that's so that's the way she was. She was an open book. Like,
Well, you know that
at
the
least
neat thing,
she was portrayed that way in the movie. So,
absolutely. Well, and I also heard there was a play about her also, and I love the way they ended. They did Ave Maria. They said this is what she sounded like, and it was like Ave Maria. But then she said, but this is what she thought she sounded like, and it went out. Just it was so gorgeous the way they portrayed her, that she sounded,
yes, I remember that.
thought she sounded like that, and she didn't. So that's why she kept singing, because she just assumed she sounded good to people. Oh, it was very
That
earth-shattering.
inner world of her, yeah.
Right. And she loved it so much that she wanted to sound like that.
Yeah.
And she just didn't have the talent, but she did practice and had one of the top accompanists in New York City.
Yeah.
So,
Well, yeah, those are good influences. I mean, I remember the pop music and stuff.
well, classically, I guess Isaac Stern was an influence because I played the Bach A minor. I shouldn't go on because I'm probably too close to the camera, but he was my first influence of that concerto. So I listened to it over and over and over. So I would say,
who was the artist?
Isaac Stern.
Isaac Stern, yeah.
Isaac Stern, and then Jack Benny. I know that's probably why I kind of went into comedy with my violin, because he could really play, as we talked about in the beginning of the interview. He could really play, but he downplayed it. And he and Heifetz used to play duets, and they'd see who could play the fastest. And then Jack Benny would be like, that's nothing. And then he would start scratching, and then Heifetz would come out, and then Jack Benny would, it was really quite funny. You should look up, I think they might be on YouTube.
That is funny, yeah.
So the Carpenters, Barry Manilow, Isaac Stern, and Jack Benny. That's my beginning. And my parents, I played for my mother because she wanted a violinist so badly that I couldn't break her heart to quit. So I kept playing because she would have just collapsed if I didn't continue. I was a parent pleaser.
Yeah. Well, those are great stories. I really appreciate it. And when I was a kid, I used to listen to the radio every night going to sleep. And my family tells me that when I was really little, I just sat there and listened to records.
Wow.
Absorbing it, and storybook records, music in the background.
Yes.
Just,
well, so what made you want to compose? Like you thought, I could do that too. Like you heard a tune you liked and thought, I mean, were you always having like do something in your head and then wrote it on a napkin, or?
No one ever asked me that.
This is your
my piano teacher, when I was in the 6th grade, I wanted to learn I had a classical piano teacher. He wasn't that great. He got me started, but he kind of scared the music out of me. And so I recovered. And then I had a teacher, her name was Ro Barrett, and she taught pop piano. And I wanted to learn ragtime and pop piano. So, and part of her thing was to teach me about chords so I could read lead sheets. And then she said, hey, you should write some music. And I'm like, okay. And so I just take, she'd say, here's 4 chords. So you just write a melody. And I still have the book with the giant colored notes.
Yeah, those huge notes. Yeah.
Right. So anyways, that's how I got started. And it was always just a natural extension. I mean, people have always, the idea that we're so in the silos, composer, performer, conductor, right, sacred music, secular music, jazz, you don't mix. I never really felt that way. I played in bands, and choir. Yeah, I've done some of a broad range. So it's all I draw on all of that. And when I do,
me too.
Yeah, you did. Of course you do. That's why you like this string arrangements.
Well, that's why these kids who are they all are classically trained, and they're amazing. They're like 13 and they're just playing Brahms double. If you know anything about Brahms double for violin and cello, it's one of the most difficult pieces ever written. They play it like they're drinking a glass of water. It's nothing. But this jazz, they're really learning the style. I'm trying to teach them the style, and they're just, the fact that they're loving it helps them cross over that barrier. I said to them, if you tell your parents come hear this, they'll either take you out of the school because they want you to be classical, or they'll love it because they love that you get that broad education.
Well,
So
that would be-
that's what I'm trying to give them.
Just so just for my own thing, like when you teach them, do you have to teach them any sort of a different bow technique, or do you just like say, it sounds like this, now
Well,
figure it out? Do you,
Well, I tell them to make it easy. Like, in other words,
back
we
up just a
work
little
too hard.
Yeah,
We
go
work too
ahead.
hard on our, you learn how to make a straight bow, right? If it's cricket, you
Right.
don't get the sound. So once you know that, I just tell them, ease it up on the rhythm, man. And just make it very easy, and don't hang on so tight. Kind of have a little more fun. And then when they retake, remember we did the bowings together, and they were doing all this. I said, just retake it. You don't have to have a huge bow arm. So
Yeah,
it's more just teaching them gentle. I show them, but I just say the whole thing is just easy. The best bow arms in the world are bluegrass players. Because they just easily go back and forth instead of. That's how maybe a classical player would do it. So I often refer to jazz and fiddle players. They have incredible smooth, easy bow arms. So that helps the kids just get the style.
and the triplets going from da 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 to da 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 da. They just get that, because I mean that's the swung eighth notes, which is the difference.
Yeah, they're doing it from what I can
Yeah.
tell. I mean, we have 35 kids, so obviously there's some that aren't, but they've only done it twice. So I think by May 8th, you'll be able to stand up and be proud of what you're hearing.
Cool.
I'm
Yeah.
hoping.
Yeah. I think we should stop just because we've done about a half an hour or maybe even a little more. And
Sure.
but you are great to talk to.
Whatever brings the crowds in, Peter, the crowds. We want the crowds.
I want everyone to experience it. Go ahead, Don.
So Peter, for a final piece, I wanted to just play a little something for anyone who can't sleep. If you have trouble sleeping, now you have to get really close
Okay.
to the mic. Ready? Isn't that adorable? This was my very first violin.
Hold it up really close to the camera.
This was my first violin, Peter. I played in the womb.
Were you born with that? Holding that?
Yes.
Yeah.
My poor mother, the bow, it really hurt coming out. Woo!
Talk about an afterbirth. Holy snap. Jeez.
I popped the placenta. Oh, forget it. Woo!
This is okay. Well, that's what you call a
Now we have an X-rated show.
dyed in the wool musician. Say bye-bye. Just wait.
Bye-bye.